You ever finish a song and look up and wonder if the crowd is deeply moved or just dead inside? Yeah. Welcome to the glamorous life of the solo musician. Hey, I'm Todd, and today we're going to talk about something every gigging musician has to learn the hard way. How to read a crowd at a gig. Because contrary to popular belief, your audience is not going to send you a written memo during the set. They'll just look vaguely uncomfortable and then leave without paying their tab. So if you've ever walked off stage thinking, did I just absolutely crush that? Or should I change my name and move towns? I've been gigging for over 27 years and I've developed a sixth sense. Not for ghosts, but for grumpy boomers and hen's night that could turn violent. Let's get into it. Silence isn't always a bad thing. Understanding the auditory listener crowd. One of the biggest traps for gigging musos is misreading a quiet crowd, especially in certain venues where silence is actually a compliment. I call these auditory listener crowds. They're not clapping, they're not singing, they're not even making eye contact. Yet they sit there very still, like they're being held hostage by a really soothing Spotify playlist. But here's the twist, they're actually listening intently. You're not bombing, you're background jazz in a David Lynch film. Where do these crowds show up? Well, restaurant gigs. These are people trying to eat a $38 risotto in dim lighting. They're not about to stand up and start line dancing. If they look up from their plate or just slow their chewing during your solo, you've made an impact. Sunday Arvo beer sets. The beer's flowing, the sun's out. Everyone's half a schooner away from a nap. They're not disengaged, they're just horizontal in spirit. This is not a dance crowd. This is a nod once per song and maybe smile if you play James Taylor crowd. Wineries, garden bars, cruise lounges, anywhere with throw pillows. The quieter the furniture, the quieter the audience. You're here to create ambience. What not to do with an auditory crowd? Don't mistake their stillness for boredom and suddenly shift into party mode. They'll look at you like you just screamed at a meditation retreat. Don't beg for engagement. No, how's everyone doing tonight? They're doing just fine, you just scared them. Don't get deflated, because these gigs are the ones where someone will approach you afterwards and say, "You're incredible, I just didn't want to disturb you while you were playing, but I was totally absorbed." Meanwhile, you've been on stage picturing yourself selling your gear and becoming a barista. What to do instead? Focus on precision and tone. These crowds actually hear what you're playing. Lean into subtlety, beautiful chords, dynamic space. Watch for micro reactions. Closing eyes, mouthing lyrics, leaning towards the stage ever so slightly. In these venues, applause is optional. The room might be quiet, but that doesn't mean your playing didn't cut through. It just means you delivered the musical equivalent of a smooth whiskey. Warm, complex, best enjoyed in silence. And hey, they'll probably tip you better than the table of tradies yelling for K-San. Context is everything. Reading the room isn't just about watching the people, it's about understanding why they're even there in the first place. Because if you're booked at a restaurant, you're expecting a dance floor, or it's a Sunday over beer garden and you're chasing party energy, you're not reading the room, you're reading the wrong genre. Every gig has a different context. Some are soundtracks to people catching up with friends, some are live wallpaper for date night, some are just there so the venue can put live music on the chalkboard. You need to know the role you're playing in that space. If the vibe's chill, don't try and force a sing-along. It's background. Be brilliant in background. And if it's a knees-up party gig, don't spend 45 minutes finger-picking obscure blues songs while everyone stares at their shoes. Read the room, yes, but first read the gig. Because once you know the context, everything else makes a lot more sense and you can stop second-guessing your set list and just do your job confidently, appropriately, without trying to turn a Sunday roast into Coachella. This video is proudly not sponsored by anyone, but if it were, it'd probably be brought to you by Pubset, the only app that helps you build a set list entirely out of songs drunk people think they know the words to. If you've ever finished a song and been met with the same enthusiasm as a PowerPoint presentation, go ahead and hit like. And if you want more gig tips, dry humour and the occasional emotional damage, hit subscribe. It costs nothing and it helps me justify explaining to my family that YouTuber is now part of my job title. Now let's get back to reading the crowd like a blurry menu at a dodgy Thai place. Now let's talk about the other kind of gig. Everything we've just covered, those quiet listener type crowds, That's one category, but not every gig is a background gig. Some nights you're not there just to fill space, you're there to create a vibe. You're the entertainment, the energy source, the human jukebox with charm and a high tolerance for bad requests. So the next section is for those gigs where your job isn't just to sound good, it's to move the needle, build a vibe, hold it, steer it, and adapt it on the fly when it shifts, because it will shift. So here's how to read those rooms and survive them. The side eye test. This one's subtle but powerful. Watch for the synchronized side eye. If one person glances over to their friend during your verse, that's nothing. They probably just realise the guy they're with isn't actually named Dave. But when two or more people from different tables all start whispering out the exact moment you kick into your second verse, it might be time to rethink that obscure B-side from your artistic phase. This doesn't mean you're bad, it means the room's shifted. They're bored. They've gone from, wow, live music, to, should we order chips? Pull out a song you know, even if you hate it, especially if you hate it. Because sometimes the most professional thing you can do is pander. When to not take a break. Here's a big one, because timing your break wrong can ruin a gig faster than spilling a pint on your loop pedal, which I did last week, not even joking. There's a magical moment in every set where the energy just lifts. People start moving, they're tapping glasses, mouthing lyrics, yelling the name of ex-boyfriends. Not sure why, but it's working. Do not, under any circumstances, take a break right then. I don't care if your bladder's bursting and your vocal cords feel like they're made of cornflakes. You ride that wave. Taking a break during that moment is like proposing to someone and then going to make a sandwich. Kills the momentum. The mood deflates. Next time you back up, they're halfway through a schooner and couldn't care less if you're bloody Ed Sheeran or a bloke named Craig with a Bluetooth speaker. Hold your break until the vibe dips, then go. Don't be fooled by the front row. This one gets soloists all the time. You're mid-song and the table closest to you is just blank. No toe taps. One of them is checking LinkedIn. You start spiraling. They hate me. They hate this song. They hate my face. Meanwhile, what you don't realise is the table behind them are loving it. They just don't want to be seen enjoying anything in public because this is Perth and someone from work might be there. So don't let one table dictate your whole vibe. Scan the edges. You'll often find energy hiding where you least expect it. In the couple at the bar mouthing the words to Fast Car, in the lady near the pokies bobbing her head like it's 1998. Play to them. The vague request decoder. You ever get this one? Can you play something, a little more upbeat? What they really mean is they want you to play something from the 1 year in their life they weren't dead inside, but they can't remember what that is. Or the classic, you got any classics? That could mean anything from Elvis to Eminem, depending on their birth year and blood alcohol level. So what do? Read the subtext. Look at their age, their outfit, what drink they're holding. If he's got a Southern Comfort and a tribal tattoo, it's probably Creed or Nickelback. If she's got a rosé and a Karen haircut, Fleetwood Mac is probably a safe bet. Point is, vague requests are actually secret clues. Decode them and you'll be the crowd whisperer. Dead room versus dead energy. This one's technical but crucial. Sometimes the room is dead, it's tiled, it's high-ceilinged, harshly lit, and the reverb smears every lyric like cheap eyeliner in the rain. In those rooms, you can't create hype, you can only manage expectations. Then there's dead energy, which is fixable. That's when the crowd is capable of vibing, but you're not just giving them the right bait. Too slow, too self-indulgent, too many songs with the word moonlight in it. Fix it up by upping the tempo, dropping the intros, engaging more. Talk to the room, call out birthdays, invent birthdays. People love a bit of low-stakes chaos. So look, reading the room isn't about being psychic. It's about being present. It's pattern recognition, social awareness, and sometimes just noting that the hens party in the corner is starting to take their shoes off. That's your cue to play Valerie before things go feral. You won't always get it. Some nights the room is unreadable, like a bloody IKEA manual printed in wingdings. You'll play the wrong song, you'll make a joke no one hears, you'll try to hype a room that hasn't felt hype since the Sydney Olympics. That's okay. Just don't get it in your head about every quiet table or weird look from some dude who probably hasn't smiled since the Bush era. Keep the energy moving and trust that people are still there. They're just getting something different out of it. And if all else fails, play Sweet Caroline, loud, then exit. See you in the next one. Unless the room's gone cold, in which I'll quietly unplug and slink out like a ninja with a PA system. Don't get deflated. These gigs are often the ones where someone will approach your ass. Sometimes the room's dead. It's high-tiled. Fucking high-tiled. What is high-tiled, you muppet?